If you're buying a used car, you want to make sure it is reliable. In today's video, we're going to head over to Consumer Reports to talk about which brands you should be looking at when buying a used car and which brands you might want to think twice about. Before we get into the big list of the best versus the worst in reliability for used cars, we need to look at how Consumer Reports is coming up with this data. They asked their members in the last 12 months how many problems they've had with their car. They focused on problems on cars from 2014 to 2019 model years from a sample of more than 150,000 cars. They had 20 potential categories of trouble issues: squeaky brakes, broken interior pieces, out of warranty engine transmission, battery electric vehicle batteries, and EV charging issues, and they weighed them accordingly. We don't know how they weighed them, all right? So we don't know how much more engine and transmission are weighed compared to something like broken interior trim. Obviously, they're weighted more. Just how much more, we don't know. Overall reliability scores from those 6 model years were averaged to create the used brand reliability score. And each brand must have at least 5 years of data. And before we get into the official list, I'm going to provide this for you guys in the description. This is a report from IC Cars, and I made this video, or I made a video on this specific topic, the longest lasting cars. The cars that are most likely to last 250K and beyond. All right. Does that mean that they are reliable? Well, in theory, it means their engine and transmission are reliable, but they might have other issues with broken interior trim. It's stuff like that. That's worth considering. So we're going to cross-reference this article today once we finish up looking at Consumer Reports to see if we're seeing some differences. They remind us that while some brands have poor reliability, that there are exceptions within that brand that are actually quite reliable. All right. And vice versa. Just because you're buying a very reliable brand doesn't mean there are some duds in there as well. So make sure to always do your research. All right. So let's get into the bottom of the pile. Chrysler and Dodge at the very bottom of the heap, and Jeep at the bottom of the heap, as well as Tesla. Now, Ram, Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, all Stellantis products. They're all the same company. They should, in theory, all be very close to each other, right? Tesla kind of finding its way in the bottom. Now, Consumer Reports also has a new car reliability rating. And so they say, hey, check out new car reliability because there is differences. If there's a new car that hasn't changed in many, many years, that's going to be more reliable in theory than a lot of cars that have just got a full-on redesign, for example. But yeah, Tesla at the bottom of the heap. Let me know if that surprises you, because in theory, there's less things to go wrong on an electric car. But at least according to owners of Teslas, there's a lot of problems they're having with them. GMC, Ford, and then we get our first non-American brand here. The top 7 worst reliable brands are all American. Then you get Kia, all right? Then another American brand, Chevy, and then Kia's counterpart, Hyundai. So that makes sense as well. You should see Kia and Hyundai close to each other. They have the same platforms, the same technology, the same engines, transmissions, etc. We also should see GMC and Chevy close to each other, right? General Motors, and they are fairly close. Audi, Volvo, Volkswagen. Now, Volvo is kind of their own thing. There's no other vehicle company in North America anyways that shares parts with Volvo on a massive scale. Volvo's transmissions are typically sourced from Japanese transmission maker Aishin. That's probably one of the most reliable parts on a Volvo is their transmission. But Audi and Volkswagen cut from the same cloth, right? And look, they're right next to each other. Ford and Lincoln seem to be quite a ways apart. Lincoln being the luxury division of Ford. Let's get into Mini. Mini and BMW are the same company. I'm reviewing a Mini Cooper S at home. Stay tuned for my driving impressions and a little review of that Mini Cooper. It's a lot of fun to drive. But yeah, where's BMW? BMW in theory is way up top. Now, New car reliability on Consumer Reports has many at the very, very tip top, which I don't believe. All right. So I believe this used report much, much more than Consumer Reports new car reliability rating. Believe what you want, right? Cadillac, again, close to Chevy and General Motors as a production car, but in theory, they're a lot more reliable. They're better built, according to these Consumer Reports. Consumer Reports also has Mercedes-Benz really low, like almost dead last when it comes to new car reliability rating. So again, they're looking at cars that are about 5 years old here potentially. So new Mercedes-Benz, they don't expect to be reliable. Slightly older ones, they expect to be more reliable. Nissan in the list here, cracking the top 10. A lot of people wouldn't expect that. They think, oh, Jatco CVTs. Nissans, they're outside of the CVT, there's very little to go wrong with a Nissan unless you're getting a VC turbo. There's more potential failures there. All right, Subaru, very simple brand. Again, not a lot to go wrong with the Subaru. BMW, a luxury brand, a performance brand, ranking quite high here, surprisingly. Buick, here's a surprise. This is the top American brand here, and it's even more reliable than Cadillac. So interestingly, General Motors, their quality control seems to be all over the place because Buick is seemingly very reliable, Cadillac pretty reliable, and then you have General Motors, GMC, and Chevrolet much lower on the list. All right, so let's get into the top 5. All right, Honda, Acura, same company, same car, same engine, same technology for the most part. Is it a surprise that they're right next to each other? It makes sense to me. Mazda, the little small Japanese automaker from Hiroshima, Japan, coming in as the 3rd most reliable used car automaker on this list. And Mazda is breaking sales records this year. They're spending a lot of money to do it, to advertise and incentivize, but they're still on a roll. And then drum roll, right? The top 2, Toyota and Lexus. Does that come as a surprise to you? Toyota and Lexus at the top of the Consumer Reports used car light. And look at, here's the thing. It's a landslide victory. Look at this huge jump up. There's a huge jump up from Buick to Honda, a 9-point jump. And then we have a 13-point jump from 3 to 2, going from Mazda to Toyota and Lexus. They're pulling away with reliability now. New car reliability is different. A lot of people are saying Toyota and Lexus aren't what they used to be. They're not. I mean, you have turbocharged engines now. You have much more complexity. Their software is not as well. The software is more advanced, but it's not as good as the very simple old software that they're replacing. So old Toyota Lexus, very, very reliable. New Toyota Lexus, the jury's still out. Now, if we compare what we just saw to the IC Cars list of vehicles that are most likely to reach 250K, Toyota. Now, this list took out the heavy-duty pickup trucks, so keep that in mind. All right, Toyota. So top 5 are Toyotas. Then we have a Honda. Then we have a Chevy. This list really heavily favors body-on-frame vehicles, work vehicles, vehicles that are built to last, vehicles that are built to be able to off-road. All right, so look at that. And then you have our first car on the list, which is a Toyota sedan, the Avalon, rest in peace. Lexus GX, again, truck-based vehicle. Silverado. Again, Chevy wasn't high on the list for used car reliability, but Silverado supposedly can last 250,000 miles, no problem, being 2 times more likely than your average car to reach that. So I'll go ahead and scroll here. You guys can pause, or I'll put this in the description below if you want to see the individual models here that are very, very likely to reach 250,000 miles and beyond. And then you can cross-reference it with the Consumer Reports reliability rating for used cars. So I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys for watching. I am in California for the Hyundai Tucson 2025 refresh media drive. And I'll also be driving the Ioniq 5 refresh today and the Santa Fe Hybrid. I'll see you guys for all that good stuff. Make sure you subscribed if you enjoyed today's content. Hit the like button. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.